Hi, it's Kiffin Lebates here, and today I want to talk about marketing, and in particular marketing in the context of NFTs, because I think that's an interesting topic, and at the moment I'm seeing an awful lot of very bad marketing in the NFT space. My Twitter feed is full of various tweets shilling different NFT projects, which all look the same, and where it's pretty clear that the project people haven't really thought about what it is that they're doing. They're just copy pasting what they see other people doing, and then are surprised that their projects are unsuccessful. So it's worth actually having a little look back over what marketing is and how it's evolved over time. Now, as a developer, I went through most of my career not really understanding what marketing was. I didn't even know what the difference between sales and marketing was, or business development for that matter. And I think the thing is that in the early days, and we're talking way back now, marketing was basically about telling people what it was that your product did. Buy our toothpaste, it makes your teeth nice and shiny and white, things like that. And then the companies started to get more sophisticated as they thought about not just selling a product, but actually selling a whole lifestyle. And this makes sense if you think, for example, about soft drinks. I mean, a soft drink is just some carbonated, sugared, flavoured, coloured water. And there's not really much you can say about it other than it's tasty, but then again, so is a piece of fruit. And it's thirst quenching, but so is a glass of water. And in fact, when you think about it, soft drinks have a lot of downsides. They can cause you to become overweight or develop diabetes, or they can rot your teeth. But what the soft drink companies found is that they can sell a lifestyle. You put an advert on the television showing an attractive couple in an open top car on a hillside looking out over the sea, or an exotic looking city, and they've got a fizzy drink in their hand, and people start to think, yes, I want to drink that fizzy drink too, because I like the lifestyle that it's presenting, or the ethos that it's presenting, or the worldview. And so marketing became about brands and about portraying a desired lifestyle or image to the people involved. And of course, this is in a sense what a lot of the successful NFT projects are doing too. It's making you feel like you're part of a club that has a particular worldview, and there's a sort of an us versus them aspect to it, an exclusivity, if you will. And of course, it's not just soft drinks, which have really not got that much in the way of utility, that have to resort to these kind of tactics. You see in the technology world that the same thing goes on too. Recently, for the first time since 1994, I've been using an Apple computer, a MacBook in fact, and I've also got an Apple Magic Mouse, which quite frankly is the worst pile of crap I've ever had the misfortune to use in order to move a pointer around on a screen, but that's by the by. And the thing about Apple is that it presents a way of viewing the world, and it presents an exclusive club for Apple aficionados, and it's targeted a very specific group of people, and that's particularly the creatives. So if you are a graphic artist or something like that, you're going to think, I need a computer, I must go and get an Apple computer. And Apple has done this for decades. I still remember the advert from 1984 where a sort of athletic woman throws a hammer into a giant Orwellian screen with a grey talking head, presumably meant to represent IBM at the time. And, their slogan, think differently. Think different. So they think so differently that they don't even obey the standard rules of English grammar. And by doing this, it's not actually about the technology so much anymore, although admittedly the quality of it is pretty good. It's about the lifestyle that it's presenting to you. Take these products and you will become one of us, and we're in a group that you would like to be in. So the issue that I have with these kinds of advertising is that they feel inherently dishonest to me. They're not authentic. They're not presenting the true view of the world, if there even is such a thing. They're fabricating a story and a narrative for you to participate in and follow. And I think most people don't think that kind of thing through very well and therefore get suckered into it. And of course the question is, well, given that pretty much all of advertising and marketing is based around this, what are the other options? Well, the clue is in what I said in the previous sentence, which is that there is now a new form of marketing that I'm seeing becoming more prevalent, which is something that I guess you could call authentic marketing, where you just put the facts in front of people and leave them to decide. And the issue there is it really only gives you two options as to how to advertise what it is that you have. There's the authenticity, just sort of bare and open honesty concerning what it is that you have on offer. And then the second tool that you can use is humor, comedy, because comedy has a way of sort of revealing underlying overlooked, not necessarily truths, but ways of viewing the world that people haven't initially thought of. And here I'm thinking, for example, of the classic Dollar Shave Club video, where the guy who turns out actually is the CEO and founder of the company, although I think they were acquired a little while back, just explains through comedy what it is that his company is actually offering you. So that's an approach, and I think it's actually a good one because it is more honest. And one of the things that me and Richard have been trying to do with our Authorverse project is to not shill and to not hype the project, just be honest with people that quite frankly we don't know where we're going with it. It's just evolving over time and we're having a bit of fun. And I thought we'd hit on something new there, but recently I found out that actually back in November somebody else, an artist called Sartoshi, so that's like Satoshi but with an R in it, had launched an NFT collection called MFers, and had taken the same approach, which is just allow the community to evolve it, just make stuff up as you go along and don't have any roadmaps. And that reminds me a bit of the slogan that me and Richard came up with, which is, roadmaps, where we're going, we don't need roadmaps. So of course, as is always the case, when you have a good idea, it turns out somebody else has had it before you. Now, the thing with Sartoshi's project is that it is just a classic NFT art or collectible release. So it's a standard contract. There are no whistles and bells on it. It's just giving people ownership of the row in the distributed decentralized database that Ethereum is, that points to a file, that points to an image that Satoshi has drawn. And this, I think, is one area where me and Richard do have an advantage over his project, or her. I don't know if Satoshi is a he or a she, so I shouldn't really have jumped to the conclusion initially that it is a he. Maybe somebody out there knows which it is. But anyway, the advantage that me and Richard have is that our project has whistles and bells. We started off by thinking, what would it be fun to throw into a smart contract from a smart contract developer's perspective, because we wanted to do something that we enjoy. It's not just a matter of putting 10,000 images out there on the web and then deploying a standard ERC 721 or ERC 1155 contract. Instead, in fact, what we've done is we've put 1.5 quintillion NFTs out there and used generative art in order to create the images. So one interesting thing about it. But anyway, it's nice to see that it is possible for an NFT project to succeed without having to resort to the standard approach of shilling and hyping your project with a community manager and a Discord server with 69 channels in it, 30 of which are private, and releasing derivative collections in order to try and maximize the amount of money that you can extract from the people who've joined your community. That it is just possible for the community to spontaneously evolve. And I think those kind of communities ultimately are actually more valuable than the ones that have been either artificially engineered or where an attempt has been made to artificially engineer them and people have seen through it. Anyway, there are some thoughts on NFTs and marketing. I hope you found them interesting, and I'll see you all in the next video soon. Bye for now.